beautiful people. It is Sunday night. Welcome to the APAT Show. Leigh, what do we have in store this evening?
I've just shared it into the group. It's game week eight, and we're very much not late on this Sunday night. It's the penultimate week of the winter leaderboards on grosvenorpoker.com. And so we're going to be following all of that action to a conclusion. We've got the main leaderboard event and a mini leaderboard event. Now, as I posted up on Facebook earlier on today, I mean, with 2 weeks to go, Des, it's up for grabs for anybody. If one of the top 10 win the main tonight, they could quite easily go top of the leaderboard. If anybody in the top 25 wins the mini tonight, they could go top of that leaderboard. So all to play for with 1 week to go. We're going to be in London next week, and we'll talk a bit more about that later on. So this is the last one of this run that we're going to be doing live on the APAT show. All very much to play for. Tony Ross is in the mix for both of them, but Dan Williams was leading the main leaderboard from last week. Runners tonight, well, we've got 49 in total in the main. We're down to 16, so we've got our two tables now where we normally would run through who's there. So we'll go through those in a minute. Over on the mini, we had 62 runners in that. We're down to 21 as well. That's paying top 10 in the mini, and the main tonight is paying top 8. So we still a few off the money for that. Having a quick look at the main runners and riders. Current chip leader is Bulldozer Dean Pearson leading the way. He's very much in the mix for the added value. Tony Ross is currently 5th on that. There's Bob Mouse is there in 7th. Boeing Blitz BCPC, Brian Yates is 8th at the moment. I'm just looking to see whether our current leader, yes, Bjorn Heiderstrom, which is Dan Williams, he is currently 11th at the moment. So he's still in there as well. Beanbag 85, Chris Bean, that won last week's event, he's still going as well. So unless my lobby is showing me incorrect, no, I can see him there as well. Seymour Tilt is still in there, and Sharky Lad is currently 15th of the 16 remaining.
Mark Kerwin,
again, another one in the mix, looking for the added value. £3,000 worth of added value, courtesy of grosvenorpoker.com. 2,500 in the main leaderboard, 500 in the mini. Somebody in 2 weeks' time is going to get to be in Coventry playing the Grosvenor UK Open with £1 million guaranteed prize pool.
Amazing.
Because they've played these leaderboards for the last 7 weeks. Don't even need to have played for all of them, to be honest. I think the leader at the moment of the main, let me tell you how many points Dan's on. Let me just find it on the website. Where is he? Here we go. Dan is on 265 points. You get 100 for winning one of these, and we're on game week 8 now, Des. So, it's tough. Nobody's really run away with this. So Dan's got 265 points. Tony Ross has got 260. Snake 29, who we've seen in previous weeks, has got 235. Sharky Lad's on 230. Hardcore Womble, who's Karen Balby's on 225. Franny's got 220. In the Eye's got 200. Beanbag 85, Chris has got 185. Tristal Bust, Tristan has got 180. And making up the top 10 is, actually joint 10th at the moment. There's 4 of them all on 170 points. Boeing Blitz, BCPC, Copium, G. Shergill, and Curious George. So the difference between 13th, 14th is Kane Lou as well on 165, and the leader. So the difference between 14th and 1st, Des, is 100 points, which is just is one
negligible. Negligibly.
Yeah, absolutely. So very much all to play for. You're doing your very best mannequin.
Am I?
Impression there. There we go. You've cleared through. There we go. So
I was doing a bit of ducking and diving in the background, Leigh. Didn't even realise I had gone all mannequin on you.
So that is all good. So so that's where we're at. And the mini leaderboard is even closer. As I said, as I posted up earlier on, I think it's like 100 points covering 1st to 25th or something like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. So loads to play for, and obviously 1 more week to go after this. So, but as we always say on a Sunday night, if you're in the chat, give us a shout out, say hello. Be nice to see what you're all up to on a Sunday. Des, it's Super Bowl night.
Lee, we've somewhat broken with tradition. Normally, we have a partnership in place with the Super Bowl, whereby both parties agree, and this is in a written contract that the Super Bowl will happen at the same time as the final night of the UK Team Championship. What happened? I mean, did we not agree to their terms this year?
They've let us down for the last few years, to be honest. So
it's outrageously.
We did our thing up at Dust Till Dawn last weekend. We're on a middle weekend, so it was Dust Till Dawn last weekend for the UK Team Championship. We'll talk about all of that as well. Obviously, we're back here safe and sound for a week of online APAT show following the online action, and then next week we're off to London. We will be at Aspers.
We are
in Stratford for the UK and Ireland Amateur Championships. So that will be this time next week. We will be hopefully following a main event final table. Although knowing where the numbers are, we might not have started the main event final table by this time next week, because we know the numbers in Aspers go absolutely
ballistic,
crazy. Yeah, so looking forward to that. 5 days of poker starts on Wednesday. Some great events there. We've got an 8-game championship, PLO championship. We've got a mystery shootout championship, Hetros championship main event as well. Then there's a load of then other side events in there as well. PLO 456, PLO 8, triple stud, win the button. There's an 8 max in there as well. So there's a bunch of other stuff in there as well. This week that starts on Wednesday. So if you want to get involved in that, you can see all the details up on the website, but it's all across socials as well.
Well, I mean, we've been running tournaments for close to 20 years now, Lee. But this, looks like an outstanding schedule. If you're into your mixed games, I mean, has it gone too heavy on mixed games, Lee?
No, I don't think so. I think there's plenty of No Limit Hold'em. There's something in there every day if you want to play a little bit of No Limit Hold'em. Just we've got some good quality mixed games in there. Which
it's amazing. It's an amazing schedule, I have to say.
Did very well before Christmas. But as I say, I think there's 4 flights into the main event. There's the win the button. There's a No Limit Hold'em. There's the shootout. Round of each is okay, which is No Limit Hold'em and PLO. So you've got that to play as well. I'm trying to think if there's something on that. Hopefully some of you might have picked up one of these when you were up at Dust Till Dawn last weekend with
really good,
with all the poker raffles details on it as well. So there's a bounty hunter on the Wednesday as well. So there's pretty much a No Limit Hold'em game every single day to get involved with, but of course also some really cool mixed games as well. And as we always say with the APAT stuff, if you kind of I want to get into some mixing, I want to try something a little bit different, we're the perfect place to do that, because the buy-ins, sensible buy-ins, you put it this way, you can't play an 8-game anywhere for a 2-day 8 game for £140. It's just not a thing anywhere else on the planet. So if you want to give it a whirl, even if you've got to sit out a couple of the games and sit and watch others playing it and learn as you go. Far worse ways to go about it. There are a couple of the online sites that will offer these games if you want to get a bit of practice in advance. But anyway, that all starts on Wednesday, and we'll be there for 5 days. Tom's looking after you on Wednesday and Thursday. I will be there from Friday, and I think you're joining us over the weekend as well, Des. So
indeed,
looking forward to all of that. So it should be really, really good. We've said this the last couple of weeks, but just to be clear, anyone that's been wondering where the poker raffles draw is on a Sunday night, it's moved to a Monday night. So you have to join Des and myself from 9 o'clock tomorrow night for the poker raffles draw this week. There's APAT draw is already sold out. There is another one that went up on the site yesterday. If that does happen to sell out before we draw tomorrow night, we will do that one as well, even though I think the date on it is for next week. So if that does sell out and they want to win their ticket for maybe playing something in London next week, we'll do the draw early if we to be honest, I might even say, do you know what, if it gets to the 140 tickets for that, I might do the draw and give somebody a bonus so they can use it for London if they want to. So you have to hold me to that now if we get there by 9 o'clock tomorrow night. But if you want to get involved in that, and all tickets are £1 on raffles, on poker raffles now. So do
£1
if you want to do that. But we are down to 13 now in the main. So as we say, what table have we got? We got table 1 open there at the moment. So chip leader on there is Bob Mouse. But no, actually no, Garth. Garth's BK1 at the top of the screen has got 46 bigs. Actually, is actually second in chips overall, only behind Bulldozer Dino. So we're 5 off the money at the moment. Talking about the money, min cash, as is always, is around double your buy-in. So it's about £60 is the min cash tonight. Up top, £434 for the winner of this one tonight, which I think is a similar sort of money to what Chris picked up last week for winning his one last week, which has put him very much in the mix. Just trying to see whether Chris is still in or whether he's now bust. I think he's gone. He might have just bust out. Yeah, I think he has, unfortunately. So he'll pick up some points for this week, but he's going to need to maybe see what happens with the final week next Sunday night. And so as soon as that one's done, they'll toss up the leaderboards on the Monday morning and make sure all the necessary tickets and bits and pieces get to the relevant people. All in on the other table, King Queen for Flush Busted up against Braun Hyderson's Pocket 8s. And it's the 8s that were at risk for our leaderboard. Numero uno at the moment, Dan Williams, and he gets a double up. So Bjorn Heiderstrom gets the double up, puts him up to 23 bigs now, Des, which is in quite tidy spot where we're at the moment with 13
shape
remaining. If Dan can add some serious points this week, it's going to be tough. But he's only 5 points ahead of Tony at the moment, and trying to see whether Tony's still. I think Tony is still in. Yeah, he's over on the other table. So Tony's sat on about 16 bigs at the moment. So yeah, whichever one of those two can maybe just nip ahead on that lead tonight.
Well, Dan was quite smart last week, Leigh. Of course, he was up at the UK team, and I think he came over at a point on Sunday and said, I'm going to head back. I'm going to play the games tonight. So obviously did that, got home safely, and able to scoop up a few points for his campaign to top this leaderboard.
Yeah, exactly. And they say it's really, really good added value. So the winner will pick up a £1,500 UK Open main event seat. Second and third will pick up a £250 UK Open mini seat, which is pretty cool. Fourth and fifth will get a £110 APAT event ticket to be used, and then the rest of the top 10 all pick up 2 lots of £30 tickets as well for online. So say some really nice added value. Plus, if you're earning those sorts of points, you've probably had a few cashes along the way in the last couple of months to go with it. So all's good. What are you smirking at?
Oh, I'm smirking because Steve Forty has lit up the chat box, Leigh. He's lit it up. He said, hey guys, thankfully Tom popped by and knocked on my door to let me know the show is on tonight. We get this every other week from Steve. I didn't get a notification. I didn't know. I just want to say, Steve, whenever you've been out in the town, that awful headache you have the following morning. Well, we're a bit like that, okay? Every Sunday night at 9:30, we are on. So set your clock, my friend. Do a weekly 9:25 alarm on a Sunday.
I don't think it would have been Tom. Tom was last seen about 5:30 this evening, eating a Ginster's pasty, swimming across the Plymouth Hoe, just saying we're on our way to Wembley.
Yes!
That's where he was last seen. So I don't think that was the. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about it until it was in the middle of the game this afternoon. I thought, it's like the APAT derby, isn't it? It's like
we don't talk about that, Leigh. But all that I can say is that the only person happier than Tom that Plymouth won that game today was me. Honestly, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
The happiest Liverpool fan
to be honest, there's a few. Yeah. There's the few of them out there who see the benefit of maybe dropping 1 or 2 games, maybe more, because let's face it, nobody in the history of football has ever won a quadruple. It wasn't going to happen this year, so I'd rather lose in the 4th round than get all the way to the final, risk the extra injuries, have the extra games, and you still don't achieve it. So no, I'm pretty calm. I have to say, pretty calm.
No, it is it's a weird one. I remember there's been a few documentaries recently about the '99 treble, and a lot of the players then say that we were never going to do it. We didn't think we could. It was never really on. It's one of those things that does creep up on you. So I know you say it wasn't on to do it, but I think this Liverpool team is where they were. There's no reason why he couldn't have put a few more of the first team out today, and probably would have got you across the line. But
look,
it's done now.
Jota played, Diaz played, Harvey Elliott played. Nunez came on. Plenty of them played.
We know Harvey Elliott played. He got an assist, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, he didn't play well. It didn't play well. It has to be said. No, I have no regrets. None of the great teams has ever won a quadruple. We have been, at the same time of the year, in twice. This is the third time in the last 5 years we've been in the conversation to win all of them, and we've ended up with absolutely zero quads. I've done the maths, 0 quads. I've had a look, didn't hit any of them. We got a League Cup last year when it looked like we might hit the quad in February, and I think maybe 2 years prior we ended up with both of the domestic cups. Ask any Liverpool fan now, they'd take the League Championship over any risk associated with not winning the League Championship. So yeah, no, I have to say, Lee, honestly, I'm pretty comfortable, and I think a lot of Liverpool fans are.
You've got to make the most of it as well, because Sir David Brailsford has put out his Route to 21 plan, everyone else.
What has he done?
Everyone else should be very fearful of Man United are on the comeback.
Are they?
Yeah, we've got a blueprint for success now.
Blueprint, a blueprint.
Does
it involve a man on a small bike with bags of mysterious?
Honestly, it's all potions. Good. We've got marginal gains. You're all in trouble. We're coming after you. So make the most of your 20th title, because we'll get to 21 before you do. Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's just inevitable. That's what's going to happen.
Lee, listen, the big football story, the big football story of this week, I don't think was Liverpool going out of the FA Cup, nor indeed anything related to United. I think it was Pep stating that within the next month they expect to hear back from the Premier League on the 115 or the 130, whatever you want to call it. I think that's the big story, because inevitably we've all been kind of waiting for this for a long time now. It does sound like judgment is not far away. I don't think anyone can assume that will be against City. I mean, they have a very impressive legal team for sure. But in the event it is against City, it'll be kind of cool to find out what the Premier League has set aside as a penalty for them.
Well, if they've even got as far as that at the moment, it's interesting. There's a lot of rumours out that's suggesting that did City spent in January to try and convince everybody that they're innocent, which there's obviously still a strong possibility that's how it ends up playing out. And even if they are found guilty of whatever it might be, you do wonder that they'll then get appealed. I don't think anything will get decided straight away. I think it'd be very difficult to, if they are going to appeal something, for a punishment to be put in place, because that punishment would have then a knock-on effect should then the appeal be successful. So I don't think any punishment will come in until it is absolutely watertight, that they've got no other route to go down. And City will, if they, from what they've said over the years about it, they're going to fight any ruling, and they will take it to wherever they need to take it to try and get this result. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, Lee, let me tell you with some confidence that if the Premier League do the right thing, the Liverpool fans will not be waiting for an appeal. We will be organising the parade for numbers 20, 21 and 22. Woohoo! Basically for the week after the announcement.
Do we get? Are we due one as well? I can't remember.
You probably are. You probably are.
We're probably due. Yeah, probably, and we might be due a cup as well. Maybe
you have to pay a bonus to whatever manager was in charge for that one.
Oh, so whoever's got to go and remove this, it's like a tattoo removal, isn't it? And then redo over the top. Oh, it feels like a lot of hassle, to be honest. Should we just not? I think it's probably best, just easier, just
leave it,
not to redistribute, just leave it. Yeah,
leave it.
Steve
says,
as it is.
Hannah, of course, Steve's daughter is happy that Rashford is now at Villa. So that too is a big story. So Marcus Rashford has gone to Villa. What do you think, Leigh? I mean, I'm so, kind of saddened by how his career has, come to an absolute standstill. He seemed like he had the world at his feet a couple of years ago.
He looked quite good when he came on. Watch the
game. Did he come on? Did he come on?
Yeah, came on for about half an hour, and looked just fitted in straight away. Some beautiful build-up play. I mean, if Villa can get their defenders back fit, their options up front now are frightening. Really, really good. Watkins is injured at the moment, but just literally. Rashford just was in the team as if, if he'd been playing there for years. Boyblitz all in with.
Did he play on the left wing?
It's the eights. Yeah, played on the left hand side, but was some beautiful build-up play for a couple of the moves, and slotted in there quite nicely. A lot, build up Asensio and Morgan Rogers.
Is he fighting for a spot out there with Morgan Rogers? Is it who would normally have that shirt?
Morgan Rogers. It'll either be you got Bailey plays wide the one side, and who's the lad that plays on the left hand side for another youngster? I can't remember what his name is. He would. Yeah, that's where he'll be fighting for. But ultimately, if Villa have now got the options with Watkins in there as well, it looks like they probably then got now 4 or 5 attacking options, which he's only going to play 3 of them at any one time, which means you've got 2 or 3 on the bench to bring on, and that's what you want. You only have to look at Liverpool's 6 up front.
5. I think we're getting rid of Chiesa.
Yeah. So, they've got options, and what they can do is they can play 3 of them for Jacob Ramsey is the man. Thank you very much, Steve. They can play 3 of them for 60 minutes and change those front 3 to freshen it up and not really drop much on the quality.
That's the absolute secret.
That's ultimately what you want, and if you can do that and keep your defense fit and not, that's where United fail at the moment. We're constantly changing our back 3 around us and using substitutes up for that. Whereas what you really want to do is you want to actually freshen up the attack, and say, right, actually I only need you to run 60 minutes. Go and give it your all for 60 minutes, and then we'll freshen it up, and we won't have a drop off in quality. Villa look like they potentially have got that. I mean, I know it was Tottenham, but yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, you absolutely battered Tottenham on Thursday night, albeit they've got a lot of injuries and whatever. I should just say players are on a break. It is 5 to the hour, and so we're down to 9. We're one off the final table. So the players are also one off the money as well. So it's not only the final table bubble, but it is the money bubble as well on the main event tonight. And the mini is down to 16, and that's paying top 10 as well, so that's getting close. Interestingly, we got a double chip leader at the moment. Bulldozer Dino is chip leader in both tournaments.
Mr. Pearson.
Right, so
Dean Pearson, Leigh, I'm sure was playing with APAT online back in season 1. If not, I'm sure he came in and, of course, spent a lot of time with Eat My Stack, playing team events and stuff like that. Been around a long, long time, Dean. Bulldozer Dean.
Yeah. He's very much there. And who else is still in both? So Bjorn Hydrostrom is still in both as well. So Dan is going well in both of those tonight. I think they're the only 2 that are still in both by the looks of it. Just looking a bit further. Oh, no, Brian is as well. Boyblitz is still in both as well. I'm Bob Mouse. In the mini as well, Hardcore Womble is 4th in the mini, which was Karen, who is still 5th in the main leaderboard, but I'm going to guess might have added a few more points. Let's see where she bust tonight. Or might not. I might have only. I know. Did finish in 25th. So we'll have added a few more points to her. Let's see how much 25th gets you. 15 points. So we'll have added a few. So it's just for playing. You pick up points. So you get 5 points if you just rock up and play.
Just rock up and play.
Yeah.
Leigh, just for anybody out there who's watching in, we had the absolute pleasure. We're not as prepared as we normally are for tonight's show, because we had the absolute pleasure of spending what kind of became an hour and 45 minutes. Was actually probably closer to 2 hours in reality, in talking to the wonderful Robbie Straczynski, card player lifestyle supremo. Leigh, Robbie, and I worked on the Orbit and various other bits and pieces over the years. And he came and he wanted to talk to Leigh and I about poker raffles and, where did that idea come from and stuff like that. So we said, absolutely brilliant. So, I mean, we probably spoke off record for probably 90% of it. But here's the intro.
Hey everyone, I'm Robbie Straczynski, the owner of CardPlayerLifestyle.com. I'm here with a couple old friends of mine, Des Duffy and Lee Wiltshire. How are you?
So we kept it as simple as that, guys. We can't give you any exclusives beyond that. But that video, I guess, will come out at some point next week. And Robbie wants to write an article on it, and that's pretty cool. And but it was such a pleasure, Leigh, spending some time with Robbie. He's one of life's good guys, kind of super positive attitude on things. Despite the hardships of the world, sounds like he's got, one or two exciting things going on in his circle as well, which is nice to hear. But it was we don't normally go down memory lane, albeit Poker Raffles hasn't been around for that long. But it was quite nice to talk about the genesis of the idea, was it not?
Absolutely, yeah, it was, and we'll hopefully we'll be able to share some more of that with you in the next few weeks or so. But it's just nice catching up with
No,
Robbie.
that was Italy. That was the whole. There was only that much time left after we'd been shooting the breeze.
That's what we did. Yeah, that's all we got to do. But he's just about to head over to Vegas for his 10th mixed game festival over in Vegas, which has been a huge success for him. So pleased that's worked out. I mean, he's a huge advocate for the mixed games, as we are at APAT, and I'm desperately trying to get him to come along to an APAT event if we can make it work at some point. But yeah, absolute pleasure catching up with him. And as we've shared, we occasionally share some stories about the bits that happened on the Orbit or whatever. The minute the three of us start talking about those and reminisce, I reminded Robbie of the In Bed with Matasau episode earlier on, which got him laughing, because it was that was a lot of fun, where Mike basically refused to get out of bed. He said the only way I'm doing the show is if I'm going to lay here and do it.
And
so
he did.
Okay,
he lied in bed for the whole show. It was amazing. And we I don't know who else was on that show, but that was like a big hitters show. There was lots of other big guests on it, but Mike was the one laying in bed. And of course, Leigh, we haven't spoken too much about this for contractual reasons, but one of Poker TV's most well-known commentators, we will not name a name, told a funny story on one of our records about I don't know, something to do with his wife or something, and I'm sure there was some sort of strange sexual act mentioned in the thing. And afterwards, he kind of said, "Do you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have told that particular story." It's
it's the only time I've ever needed to edit something out, because normally
only time.
Yeah. Normally we would just we would effectively record us live, and all I would do is deal with any little tech issues or whatever like that. We normally would just put it out as it was, but it was the one time we've actually had to cut a chunk out. But
we do have it somewhere though, Leigh, don't we? We do have the story. We have the story.
Oh, it's there if we need it. Just looking in the chat, Mark Cohen's out there saying the chip counts in the main are out at nine left. It's saying 11. Yeah, the lobby occasionally glitches for me, and mine's cleared through now, so I'm now showing 9 in the lobby. But it does have this. Yeah, occasionally it does glitch, and it's not got everybody exited as it should do. So I don't know why that is the case, Mark. But mine's now looking okay. And you are quite right, calling us full-on geeks. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyone that saw me last week at Dusk Till Dawn. as happy as can be with a spreadsheet working. It's very much was a good weekend all in all. What a good weekend it was, actually. First
Great
one back,
weekend
for 2025. It doesn't seem to matter. We only did the last event in the second week of December, so it doesn't feel that long ago. But it always feels when it's the first one of a new year, everyone buzzes around the UK team event, and it's the one that everyone looks forward to. 360 players packed out dusk till dawn, not a spare seat in the house, and the eventual winners were the Aspenauts, captained by Paul Moyse. There you can see four from the left in the middle of the photo there, and we'll be heading there. We're heading to their place, the home of the current UK team champions. We're heading to Aspers next week for the UK and Ireland Championship of Amateur Poker. But yeah, it's super performance from them. I mean, what I would just say, great bunch of guys and girls represented Aspers. Every one of them was there right until the very end. In fact, I think they were still sat around a poker table when we left. They railed their skipper Paul to a second place finish individually. Not one of them left. Not one of them left the rail. Every time Paul was all in, they were piling into the table. Really proper,
the epitome
team.
of team play, Leigh, right? The epitome, support all round. Beautiful to see.
Yeah, absolutely. They got 4 through onto day 2, and and thoroughly enjoyed themselves. And I was chatting to a couple of them over breakfast on the first day, and really, really nice guys. And they look after us when we're down at Aspers as well, and make sure that everything's good there. Obviously, there's a number of their players there are ambassadors to the card room as well. So it was lovely to see Paul get to play. He used to work up in the Nottingham area before he moved down to Stratford with Aspers down there, and who knew he could actually play a bit of poker? Des?
He plays, Leigh.
He plays.
Shamed his card room members.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who knew?
So
but Leigh,
superb win for them, obviously, and we should say well done to all those that the teams that made the top 5 as well. Yeovil Poker Club that finished in second place in the end. BCPC who picked up the bronze medal, and then there was also APAT's very own team, which Brendan looked after for us. They finished in 4th place.
Fantastic performance.
And the I want to say the Cav Cocktails finished in 5th. Yes, yeah. So very well done to all those that picked up the money, and of course to Ryan Kilby as well from Hetton.
Magnificent.
Hetton Mob. Really great final table. Played it really well last week and thoroughly deserved. And he has been knocking on the door for an APAT Gold for a very, very long time, and thoroughly deserved. And he got a couple of horrible beats on that final table.
It was a really interesting final.
Yeah. Yeah, and managed to keep his head about him, and came back, and a really good heads up as well, actually, between him and Paul. It could have gone either way. There's a couple of chances for both of them to win it before eventually it went the way of Ryan. But and a huge thank you to everyone at Dusk Till Dawn, because again, they got hit with some horrible sickness bugs, and they had a number of staff out, but didn't have any issue with dealers. The valets worked their socks off like they always do, and the bar staff as well. Really can't fault the guys for the weekend. Little bit of a software glitch with the Saturday night comp, but they even that had like 180 runners in it, and they managed to get everybody sat down and going back old school way with paper and pen to get things up and running for that particular event. But it was a pretty faultless weekend all in all.
Great weekend, would agree. Lovely to see everybody, and for those of you who can make it down to London, just can't wait to do it all over again.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. Some cracking events, and if you can get down there, good. If not, well, we've always got next month. We're over in Dublin for 2 days with the St Paddy's Day festival. Ace 6 versus Ace 9. Vialio's at risk with the Ace 9. 6 on the flop for Garth's BK1. And that's going to be that. So we've got a final table. There we go. Final table sorted in the main. And let me see what we've got left in the 15 left in the mini, so I'll have the mini up in a little while once it gets to the final table. So this is our final table of 8. So chip leader is Bulldozer Dino with 75k, which is where is Dean on there so I can see what the big blinds are on that. Typically he's on time. There we go. 57 bigs at the moment. So he's our chip leader. Garth BK1, who just bust our Vialio in 9th, is second in chip to 42,000. Bob Mouse has got 37,000. Terry Ball's got 30,000. The Mighty Doctor's got 26. Sharky Lad has got 12,000. Boing Blitz has got 11. And Bjorn Heiderstrom has got 11k as well. So we lost Tony Ross. So Renot finished in... where did he bust in the end? In 13th, it's saying on here. It's going to be about 13th, I think. So we'll see now how many points Bjorn Heiderstrom is currently top of the leaderboard can pick up. But who else is in the mix here? Boing Blitz. Brian has got a shot here if he can. He's one of the short stacks at the moment, but Brian's got a chance of really closing the gap at the top. And I think actually, let's see where Dean is on this leaderboard. So Dean is currently on 150 points. So if Dean won this tonight, he'd go up to 250, which is going to put him within sort of, maybe 20 or 30 points of the leaders going into the final week. So if Dean can see this through as chip leader with eight to go, it's open. They're all in the money now, so they've all picked up at least £60, double their money for their Sunday evening's work. And someone's going to pick up £434 up top.
Yeah, I might have missed it, Lee, but Karen did come into the chat box a short while ago and said, evening, did try to get much needed points. Wasn't to be. Lol. Unlucky Karen. Unlucky indeed.
Karen's still going to pick up 15 points tonight, so she might still be in the mini as well. But she's going to be up to 240. 240 might be enough for a top 10, so she might be on for some added value. Obviously, we'll play next week, and if you play, you're going to pick up a few points as well. She's still currently 5th in the mini of the 15 that remain. So might be. Maybe the top prize is completely other, but hey, second or third is £250 worth of added value. Fourth and fifth is £110 worth of added value. And the way I see it, it's all added value. We don't take anything out the prize pools here. So this is all about GrosvenorPoker.com giving value back to the players. So if you want to get involved, and whoever wins this leaderboard is going to get to go off to Coventry later on in the month and play in the UK Open, £1,500 buy-in with £1 million guarantee on it.
Fantastic.
So phenomenal effort. I think that's the week after we're in London, so it's the weekend after that. So all in, Sharky Lad, King Jack against the fours of Bulldozer Dino. Looks like avoiding a 4, which he does. Sharky Lad's going to get a full double up. I mean, Sharky Lad is very much in the mix markers. He's 4th on the leaderboard at the moment, only 35 points off the top. And again, if Mark can, that's a double up for him. It was one of the shorter stacks. But he's very much in the game now. Those 3 at the bottom of the leaderboard at the moment, Sharky Lad, Boing Blitz and Bjorn Heiderstrom really are the ones that are probably wanting to, whether they're laddering for points or laddering for cash. I'm not sure, Des, what the game is, but we can only suggest what we think they might be playing for here, because obviously the points do stack up. Just to give you an idea on the points that are available for the final table. So it's 35 points for 8th, then it goes 40, 45, 50, then it's 60 for 4th, 70 for 3rd, 80 for 2nd, and 100 up top. So they're jumping five points every exit to start with. But if you can, you're laddering for points as well as for money. Yeah.
Dan says, Lee, will my heads up loss last week be my downfall? So 10 points, 10 points difference?
20,
is it 20? 20 points difference?
20 points difference, 20 points difference. It might be. I don't know whether Chris Bean will give him those 20 points to console him. I doubt it very much. Yeah,
I don't think so. Lee, do you remember back in the day when leagues and leaderboards were being decided by like half a point over like 3 months and stuff?
Yeah.
Heady days.
and we on a Sunday night would actually be there calculating it live
predicting.
yeah.
Jesus.
Now we'll just go with, well, we think this is the case, but Grosvenor will confirm everything tomorrow.
I know.
Is the way we now run this. So because it's all built into the into the Grosvenor software, so you can although the details is all on. So if you go onto grosvenorpoker.com and click on online promotions, you'll see a little tab for the winter leaderboards, and you can basically click on that, and you've got all the leaderboards on there.
All the info is there.
But also, Leigh, if you're in the lobby, there is also a leaderboards tab on the lobby where you can go and click, and you can see within the poker lobby, which I think is a super cool way of keeping track of what's going on.
Leigh, there's some interesting chat coming through. Dan says, I can't complain, which ironically is just after he complains. Christine, would I bollocks give him the points back? You're not having those 20 points, Dan. No way. Karen quite smartly says, so Bjorn or Sharky could secure it today then. It's above my pay grade, Karen, but you do quite rightly go on to say you must have a spreadsheet. Leigh, there must be a backup spreadsheet, surely.
No, I don't. It don't really need that, to be honest. No, Sharky can't confirm it today. So the only person that could have confirmed it today would have been Dan, would have been Bjorn Heiderstrom. But I think Tony's picked up enough points that even if Dan gets 100, it's not done, because Dan was only 5 points ahead. So Dan would need to win it, and then it might be that only Tony can overtake him. But I think Tony will have picked up 13th. What does 13th get you? 25 points. Yeah, so it was only a 5-point distance. So even if Dan wins it, Dan will only go 80 points ahead, which means Dan potentially could only pick up 5 points the following week. As Boimblitz is all in with King 9 and has run into Bjorn Heiderstrom's flush. Oof. And that does two things. It knocks Brian out in 8th place, picking up a few more points towards his leaderboard. But obviously it doubles up the player at the top of the leaderboard at the moment in Dan Williams.
In a thinly veiled complaint, Leigh, Dan goes on to say, played 5 final tables. If that doesn't win, then whoever wins deserves it. I think that's a thinly veiled complaint. Would you agree?
Yeah, he sounds like he needs to put it
Simon
in an email
agrees.
to.
Thin. It's thin. It's a thin something.
Yeah, just pop it in an email to tom@apat.com and it will get dealt with the way most of our complaints get dealt with.
Process that.
Yeah. Tom's not bothered. He's on his way to Wembley. He doesn't care, so it's not gonna worry him in the slightest. Yeah, no. So I don't think it can get decided tonight. Not possible. And I think, say, Dino's also going to pick up some points as well. I think probably Brian's exit in 10th possibly means he won't be able to win it now, but he still will be able to add to his points and say there's nice jumps on the added value. So plenty up for. Plenty still up for grabs, but we are down to 7 now, and the mini is still on 14 at the moment. So they're hand for hand for the. No, they're not hand for hand. But no, it's top 10 a pair. I don't know why that's gone so slow.
Look at this.
Kings versus tens, and when you're
Tens
on a roll,
in trouble.
you are on a roll, and the Mighty Doctor is down to 1 big, and Bjorn Heiderstrom's gone from the short stack on this final table to
just like that.
To second in chips, I think. Yeah, second in chips. This could be Dan on a roll here to try and make it very difficult for anyone else. That's what I would say. Is if Dan can get in, get some top 3 points here, then he is going to make it very, very difficult for anybody next week to claw it back. Assuming Dan can even play next week, I don't know. He was.
Oh, he's off on some holiday or something, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's off on some holiday. He might not be able to play, Leigh.
He might not even be in the country, and obviously we'll geotag him to make sure he's not doing anything he shouldn't do, or anything like that. I love Mark's comment. Yeah, can everyone please stop doubling up, Bjorn? Yeah, it's
killing the game.
Yeah, and so that very next hand we lost the Mighty Doctor in the end, who I say only had 1 big. And so we are down to 6 now, which means the guys have locked up here £85 now for their trouble. And I don't know whether you target. So is it good for the likes of Sharky Lad and Dino to try and target Dan, to try and bust him?
You don't want him picking up second points if even if you intend to win. I assume he needs to drop points, right? But he has
all in kings versus tens.
We've seen this recently.
10 on the turn, but the jack on the river gives Terry Ball a full double up through Dino and drops him down to about 20 bigs now. Dino, yeah.
Wow. Leigh, in a very controversial statement, Dan says, I may have to cancel the holiday. And then he goes on to say, I'll tell the wife to email tom@apat.com. To be honest, do that, please. That'd be hilarious.
Only if you want to book hotels in Dublin over Easter. Tom can sort that for you.
Dear Tom, my beloved husband recently told me that our holiday to the Seychelles has had to be cancelled for something that he described as an APAT Winter Leaderboard event. I have no idea what this is. But it ain't the Seychelles. What the hell, Tom?
He says he's told me we cancelled the holiday, but I can go for a weekend in Coventry instead. if I'm prepared to pay for the hotel. Because the added value is just the ticket for the tournament. You don't get anything else with it. It's you've got to make your own way to Coventry and find somewhere to stay.
Leigh, I
can recommend hotels not to stay at in Coventry.
I ended up in a very, very decrepit hotel in Coventry once, Leigh, and honestly, my memories from the weekend. My memories from the weekend only extend to the fact of my wonderment at the grass growing up the side of the outside of the hotel. That's all I remember.
If it's the same one that Tom booked me into years and years back, it took me 3 attempts to find a room that didn't already have somebody in it. And they gave me a key to each of the
those
rooms.
were your rooms, Leigh.
Yeah. I've never known anything like it. The third time when I went with a reception, I said, look, you need to come up with me because I'm not walking into another room that's already got somebody in it again. So I don't know how you're managing to get this so badly wrong, but basically you can go and sort that out for me.
Oh, Leigh, the chat, I can't keep up with it, but the chat box is going mad here. A view of the Indian Ocean or a view of the Rico Arena. It's coin flip. I agree. It's a coin flip.
Yeah.
Dan talks of his having to cancel a holiday to Marrakesh for a work trip on the cruise once. Oh, Mrs. Williams, my heart goes out to you.
No, I don't mind the rooms at the Rico. Well, it's not the Rico anymore. What's it called? It's now called the Coventry Building Society arena, isn't it? Whatever it is. But the rooms. Have you stayed in those ones in the actual stadium itself?
Leigh, not only have I stayed in the rooms at the Coventry Rico, but I remember wandering up there after an APAT event once, and with the lovely Shan, and I think we got onto the pitch at something like 1 o'clock in the morning. I kid you not.
I remember you telling me this story.
We wandered up, and our room was on the left side. There was rooms on the right, and one of them was kind of left open. I said, that's got to be pointing towards the pitch, right? So we went in. There was nobody in there. It was completely dark. The thing was open, and down we went. It was unusual, to say the least. Can't say anything more about that.
No. I don't mind those. There's a few of the football stadiums that have got that facility, haven't they? Where
they're amazing.
They use the corporate boxes as. It's good use of because otherwise the corporate boxes rarely get used during the week or anything, do they? So I think it's good use of it. Southampton have a similar type thing. So I think it's actually a hotel, but they use it for other things as well during the week. But the Coventry one works really, really well. And it's quite nice actually opening up and looking out onto the pitch from your hotel room. It's something a little bit different, that's for sure. But for the big stuff, like things like the Goliath and things, I mean, they're all fully booked up anyway. Well, you struggle if you can find a hotel within sort of 5 miles of that place when it comes to Goliath week. which is going to creep round quite quickly this summer.
Oh, Des has had a 10-year banning order from all grounds ever since. I think I might have earned it. You're not meant to be on the pitch at that time of the night, Chris. You're quite right, my friend.
He's not allowed back into Austria. We know that for sure. That's
another story. That's another story, Leigh. And to be honest, we met up. There was a lovely moment last weekend when TK wandered up onto the staging area where we sat with all of our kit. He just quietly wandered up there, shuffled up, and couldn't believe it. So we, after giving him a glorious hug, we agreed that at some point in 2026, when we're doing our 20th anniversary, he's going to come on the podcast. We're going to tell some of the stories, because it wasn't always smooth. It wasn't always smooth. I've got about 30,000 emails relating just to the first season of APAT, like the launch, the deals that nearly were. Did you know, Leigh, we nearly had a voucher in all of the poker chipsets at Debenhams before launch?
I remember you.
Seriously, I mean, there was so many things that nearly happened.
And look what happened to Debenhams when that didn't happen.
We absolutely destroyed it.
Who would have thought that back then, if you're gonna say, put a bet on which one do you think will last the longest, Debenhams or APAT? Yeah,
that's true. It's true. It is true.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on this mini. They're on down to 11 now, so they're on the money bubble. So 1 to go, and the remaining players will be in the money. I can see Hardcore Womble still there. Seymour Tilts is there. Bob Mouse is still there. Who else have we got? Quadzilla 9999. Bulldozer Dino is still going strong there. Bjorn Hydrostrom is still in there. There's a couple of them still doing the double tonight. Looking to add to their mini. So nice. The mini leaderboard is nice. I mean, there's a UK Open mini seat for the winner of that one. So that's worth £250. Second place picks up £110 APAT event seat. Then there's third place is £60 worth of APAT tickets. Then fourth and fifth get £30 worth, and sixth or 10th pick up a tenner's worth. So there's nice added value in that mini leaderboard if you could do that. I know we focus in on the main one every week, but somebody's going to pick up a UK Open mini seat worth £250 for playing £5 comps on a Sunday night. On top of whatever they've also picked up, because the winner tonight of that mini will pick up £90 for their trouble on Sunday night. And as is always the way, we aim for these to finish sometime between 11:30 and midnight. So 7 o'clock start on a Sunday night, late reg till about 9 o'clock, and the aim is that they should be done by 11:30 to 12 o'clock, because of course it's a school night. We know everyone's got things going on a Monday, so we never want to be 2 minutes too far past midnight if we can help it.
Oh, Leigh, Simon Lawler asks a question. Where are these mythical £110 APAT events? Leigh, I have no idea what he's referring. What is he referring to? You know
they are coming soon. Is all I can say.
It's mythical.
Coming soon.
Mythical.
Yeah,
coming soon.
No, there'll be. We've said we've got some additional online events that will be happening very shortly, and we'll get those announced as soon as we
medal events as well, Leigh, right?
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a route here. Tom's waiting on a couple of live venues to confirm a few details before we can announce the rest of the live schedule. Once the live schedule is announced, then we'll pop in the dates for the additional online stuff. But obviously, we're going to continue doing these type of leaderboards and things like that throughout the year as well. So once we can get those couple of live ones sorted, then we'll get the rest of the online schedule out for everybody. But the idea is that we'll be playing within the existing Grosvenor satellite structure. So you're always able to satellite in from free actually, because they run a free roll every day. But basically it's a £1 into a 5 into a 30 into 100. I think they do 5s into 110s as well. So there's a few different routes, but you basically always have available satellites if you want to get yourself into APAT events. And hopefully we'll have some holding tanks up for some of the live events later on in the year as well. Is the plan. It's too soon to get them done for London next week, but we'll be at a number of Grosvenor events later on in the year. So we'll look to have those as well. Interesting game tomorrow night. Simon's in the chat. So Exeter City versus Forest. So the cameras are staying down in the southwest, going from Plymouth to Exeter, to see whether Exeter can cause another upset. You'd have thought Forest will go reasonably strong, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, I think so, because
they'd be foolish not to. I would suggest.
Well,
but I don't know what.
Well, the big decision is you're so close to the Champions League. Do you want a key injury, right? So that's the cautious approach, right? But Forest are in they're in great form.
Tuesday night. Simon just said, not
Tuesday?
Tomorrow night.
They could have a deep run.
Another game on. There must be another game tomorrow night.
There is a game tomorrow night. I think the draw, it's Palace and somebody. Is it Palace and Donny or somebody? But Palace, I think, tomorrow night. And the draw is going to be made at 7:00. And how nice is it not to have to worry about who you're going to pick out of the drum, home or away? Do I want to go to Arsenal, in the 5th round of the Cup? Hell no. Hell no.
Do you know what? I don't know how other people are believing this. It's really nice to not be in the Cup.
Genuine. I mean, I'm genuine. I'd be very, I wouldn't be able to bluff my way through this. It's so nice to not have to worry about it. I'm being genuine.
So you must be loving this week then, because not only are you're not worried about the draw for the 5th round of the FA Cup on Monday night. You're not bothered. You can sit and relax and watch some ridiculous games of football on Tuesday and Wednesday with the Champions League knockout stage starts.
I can beat that, Lee. I can beat that.
City versus Real Madrid this week, isn't it?
I can beat that, my friend. Not only will I be watching one of those crazy Champions League games, I'll be at one. Wednesday night, I'm at Monaco against Benfica.
Amazing.
I kid you not. So unfortunately, it clashes with Liverpool and Everton. So I'm sort of gutted. I know I'll be on my phone.
Are they they're 2-leg things? They're not just one-off thing. They're 2 legs, aren't they?
I think so. I mean, I'll be honest. I think they are 2 legs. Yeah. Oh, gee.
Yeah, but that's all going on. So of course, yes, for Liverpool at the moment, you're great, but you've got Everton this week in one of your catch-up games, haven't you?
Yes,
so,
that's super important. That is the catch-up game. So
and your game against Villa has now been moved because of the League Cup final. Yeah. So I think that creates another double-up week for fantasy football managers to bear in mind. I think that means now Liverpool have got another. So they're going to have an empty week one week, but they'll have another double-up week.
Yeah. No, I think we're pretty much we've games every midweek. That just confirms it. I think that week we have Villa away, and then we go home to City. But City, the night we're playing Villa, City are playing Real. So it's you take it. It'll be what it'll be.
Bob Mouse is all in, folded all the way around. I think it's Garth's BK at the top of the screen. Decision. It's a third of their stack, and Bob gets that one through. So Bob Mouse and Sharky Lad are the 2 shorter stacks now at this final table. They've both got about 10, 11 bigs. Bulldozer Dino's got 18, and then Garth's has got 22. Bjorn has got 25, and Terry Ball is chip leader with 32 bigs at the moment. So it is starting to squeeze down a little bit. As we've not lost anyone for a little while now.
Steve Forty says in one of the most
on the mini, so just so you're aware of that.
You got it? Yeah. In one of the most intriguing posts I've ever seen on here, Steve says, Des Duffy, please ask TK about the P&L Players Meetup at Broadway. That was the year before APAT started. Did the P&L Meetup game confirm to him that APAT would be a good idea? No, I'm taking credit for that. I confirmed to him because I chased him around London into some dark places, let me tell you. And reached the point where he was very afraid he was either going to join APAT or call the police. So I'm taking credit for that.
Ace Jack versus Ace 10, Sharky Lad at risk, and 2 10s on the board for Sharky Lad.
Wow.
And Mark gets a much needed double up and puts him just about second. So really now Bjorn, Terry, Sharky and Garth have all got between 22 and 25 big blinds. Bulldozer Dino's got 17, and Bob Mouse is now the short stack with 7 bigs, and those 7 bigs are in the middle with 3 to get through. And Terry Ball had raised under the gun here. So let's see. Bjorn is using his time bank to perfection in a laddering tactic like you've never seen since the World Series of Poker Satellites last summer. And let's see whether Terry's going to call it off. Jack 10 versus Ace Queen. Ace Queen at risk. A couple of hearts on the board and a 10. And
8, 9, 10.
Going to be good enough. Yeah, wow. It's going to be good enough. We're going to lose Bob Mouse and
lucky Bob.
Terry Ball picks that one up and goes comfortably chip leader now with about 35 bigs. But yeah, this is super tight with the other players though here. 22, they're all on between 22 and 24 bigs now.
It's anybody's league.
Dino's got 17. So yeah, very much all to play for.
Looks like the secret here is to get it all in behind.
Yeah, it's been a few of those where they've got the double ups when they really needed them, but we will see. So yeah, Simon, so 5 and 15 days. Yeah, it's been a bit of a hectic one for.
Yeah. Leigh, Steve says, how are you calling the Super Bowl? Which I think is a good question. Coincidentally,
super tight.
It's super tight, right? But Sean walked into the dining room today, the sitting room, right? And she said to me, it's the Super Bowl tonight. And I looked at her. I've never heard her mention the word before. And I said, yeah. I said, you going to stay up? Are you going to watch it? She went, well, it goes on a bit late, doesn't it? It always goes on late. She said, but you, Des, you mentioned the Super Bowl every year around this time, like 4 hours before the game, 5 hours. You mentioned, hey, it's the Super Bowl tonight. But the thing is, I don't know anything about it. So I have watched the first 10 or 15 minutes of a game in previous years and then just said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea.
Okay, but you know who's in the final, yeah?
I know Kansas City going for 3 in a row. Great sporting story, never been done before. I kind of get that bit, but the bit I miss, and I get the attack and defense and, both come off and the opposites come on. I get the principle of the game, but what I lack is which is one of the most important things in sport, is knowing who the characters are, the players, the managers, who's the underdog, I lack that context. And without that context, I find that the game just can't hold me at that time in the morning.
And you obviously, which one of them is dating Taylor Swift, yeah?
Yeah. But that's
important.
All bollocks. I have no interest in that whatsoever.
Well, you say that, but it's,
I know it, which is remarkable. Isn't it shocking that I know Kelsey is dating Taylor Swift, but I have no idea what he does on the pitch?
What I find really interesting about it is obviously what you've got here is the Kansas City Chiefs kind of, there's a legacy going on here. There's what they've created, but that in American sports is not supposed to be doable. So they did 2 in a. They did 2 in a. Oh no, they did 1. Then they won 1. Then the Eagles beat them in the next one, I want to say, and then they won again. And then they didn't win the next one, and then they won the last 2.
I understand. So that's insane. So what? Yeah, they've won it 4 times in the last 6?
It's something ridiculous like that. So or maybe it's 3 in the last 6. But even that is like, and they've been in 4 of the last 6 or something like that. It shouldn't be. I thought American sports was designed with the whole draft thing and everything else, and obviously everybody that should stop that from being available. That should be doable.
So what percentage of teams change every season, Leigh?
Well, this is the thing, they don't. So I'm just looking now. So Kansas City Chiefs have won the last 2, so 22 and 23. They won it in 19. They lost it in. Okay, so they lost it in 20 when they were going for the double, which had never been done. Back to back had never been done. So they've won. So they've been in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've been in 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls.
That's insane.
Yeah. The only one they weren't in was the 2022 one, which was the LA Rams versus the Bengals. So they've been in 5 of the last 6. Yeah.
Oh, Leigh, sorry for laughing, but sometimes Steve says, "Oh my God, just check the Taylor Swift X feed. She really likes Des Duffy. She says it a lot." I can understand that.
Yeah, lovely. So the idea behind American sports is that the draft system and the way it works with the franchises is that there shouldn't be a team that shouldn't be a team that dominates for anything more than maybe 2 years. Even the New England Patriots that you think with the fake Tom Brady, even there you assume they were like, but actually they weren't really. They won 1 year, then weren't in the Super Bowl the following year, then they won it again, then they lost in the next one, then they won it again. So actually that's happened a little bit. So you're like, well, how are these two teams in the space of the last sort of 10 years or so managed to both dominate?
What percentage of the squads change every season? So I know there's a draft, but is that draft not just for like the cocky, talented college kids coming up?
Yeah. It's just bringing the new, and then everybody else is then whoever you're doing deals for and swapping players.
So how many players? So if I'm Kansas City, how many players might I bring in the draft? I know it depends on where you are in the pick. You might get, could you end up with 3 players? You might get one great one, a medium one, and a poor one.
You could draft. I think the draft can be like, is it like 10 different levels? There's loads of players that come in through the draft, but obviously it's probably only the first maybe 2 or 3 draft picks that anyone are possibly of any initial
going to
quality.
Impact your team.
Yeah.
So that's not a huge amount of turnover on the squad.
No. And the likes of if you've got a decent quarterback, they could be tied into your team for a decade, easily. Queen 10 for Terry against the Sixers of Dino, 10 on the flop, and that's going to be Dino Busto in 5th place.
Good game, Dean. Terry's on fire.
Points on board, and Terry's a super chip leader now. He's got way more than half the chips in play. So Terry's on 57 bigs. Sharky Lad and Bjorn have got 14 bigs each, and Garth's has got 11. So
Terry's just going to use his stack here, isn't he?
Yeah. So the point is obviously they can all run down their, they can run down their contracts. You don't necessarily pay a fee. You'll get swaps, so to speak, where they'll do deals. Obviously, what's really interesting with the draft is you can actually barter your draft picks. So if you've got first pick in the draft because you were the worst team the previous year, you can effectively give that to another team in return for that. That's a really fascinating thing on draft.
Steve says you have to watch the film Draft Day. That explains the draft system. Of course, that was with Kevin Costner, right? I do recall that film very well. It's a really good movie. Watched it a couple times. And who else is in there? I can't remember the guy who plays the analyst. I can't remember his name. Good actor, great actor. But it kind of explained it, but it didn't really answer the question of what percentage of your squad is going to change.
Yeah. But I think the reality of it is if you're a decent team, you're not very many.
Yeah, and you should be kind of competing every year if you're a decent team. It's not like a refresh all around.
The idea is that if you're then therefore getting effectively the 20th pick in the draft because you've won the thing. The idea is that every other team should improve because there's going to always be 4 or 5 so-called superstars coming through in the draft that are going to go to other teams and will be then locked in to 5-year contracts or whatever it might be with other teams. So that's the process of how it's supposed to balance it out. But if you've already got a Super Bowl winning team, but there's no reason the Kansas City Chiefs shouldn't, in theory, be able to get to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. As Garth's all in with Queen 10 against Terry Ball's 9-4, and it's going to be a double up for Garth's. Yeah, there shouldn't be. It shouldn't work like that. They should be able to keep the level of consistency. But I suppose if you've got a quarterback like Mahomes, you've got Kelsey there, who's is just another level. If you've got 3 or 4 of those type of players, and you can knit a team around them that works. I suppose it's tough for other players, but they weren't favourites going into this. I don't think. I mean, I think the Detroit Lions were favourites at the wildcard stage to win the whole thing, but then they blew it. In the kind of the knockout stages. I'm probably using all completely shocking terminology. So anyone out there who's a proper NFL fan that's listening to me and going, "What the hell is Wiltshire talking about?" That's not what it's called. I just kind of watch from a distance. I'm not claiming to be anything massively knowledgeable, but this shouldn't be allowed. This shouldn't happen in the same way that when Golden State were absolutely bossing the NBA, maybe 10 years ago, when you had the likes of Durant and Steph Curry. There was like 4 or 5 of them that were just, I would say Green was in there as well, that were just, they were just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's when LeBron James was at the Cavs before he made his move. And yeah, they just were winning everything. And you're just like, how is this even doable? But the team shouldn't do 3 in a row. Listen,
it's
never been done. Yeah.
You're sounding a bit like the American Premier League fan who goes, "Come on, the Hotspurs." That's the level of knowledge we've got here. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Backpackers. Love Green Bay.
Love it.
Come on, the Backpackers.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, look at this. Look at this.
Three-way all in. And the ace queen has got there on the river.
No!
This
Terry's
could not
crushed.
have worked out better for Dan. The ladder
took him straight up to second place points.
I mean, Simon Lawler's just posted 3 minutes
he could
ago.
double here.
Dan Williams laddering, but this is nuts.
He's doubled
for Dan. He's just everyone's busted whilst Dan's just sat there. And as points wise for Dan,
wow.
This is phenomenal. This could not have worked out any better if he tried. So just to confirm what happened there, we lost Sharky Lad in 4th. We've lost Garth's in 3rd. I mean, yeah, Terry's just absolutely blitzing through them. I mean, if Dan could come back and win this, he is then making it super difficult for anyone to catch him next week. That post there from the ladder post from Simon Lawler was
on the money. On the money early,
but it was on the money. But the double up there, the 2 bust outs in a row is absolutely killed it. We're down to 8. We're on a final table on the mini as well. And Dan is chip leader in that. just
Bjorn's on fire.
Just if you're wondering, Dan is clicking a lot of buttons.
Wow. So, Leigh, are you going to watch? Are you going to watch it tonight?
I might watch a bit of it. I don't think I've got a fair bit going on tomorrow, so I don't know whether I'll be able to step and watch all of it. But
do we know who the halftime act is?
I'm not even sure don't know. I'm not sure what the what's the time difference. Where I'm trying to think. Where is it? Where even is it?
It's in America, Leigh.
No, I've got this. I know I've got Memphis in my head for some reason. I don't think it's in Memphis, but maybe it is in Memphis. It's in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's so I'm not sure what the time difference is there. I don't even know what time is what time's the puck off?
Sorry, the puck off, Leigh. The puck off.
What do they?
Don't say that after a skipful.
How do they punt off? What do they? Yeah.
Oh, don't say that, Leigh. Puck off is better. I have to say.
Yeah. I've no idea what time difference is to know what time it even starts. Oh, if Kendrick Lamar is the halftime entertainment. Well, I mean that's a different thing altogether.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to bed now.
Yeah.
I think I might do my customary 10 minutes, Leigh.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching a little bit of it earlier on because they put on Sky. They put the whole American coverage on for the entire day, so you get them, from 8 hours worth of build up to the whole thing. So, but I suppose in a way, it was obviously last year them doing back to back was had never been done before, so that was a thing. I think to do the three-peat is, it's one of those things. Well, will that ever get done again? I mean, I suppose it's like United doing the treble in '99. Well, no, everyone said, well, will that ever get done again? Maybe not. And then City eventually do. It took, 20, 25 years or whatever, but eventually they managed to do it, and somebody eventually will do the quadruple. I know you say it's not doable and it can't be done, but somebody at some point will eventually do it. These things are there to be.
I suppose my fear.
Eventually.
I agree with you, Leigh. Possibly somebody will do it, but my fear is that from the recent years, the 2 times we've been in the running for it, and of course when you're still in the hunt on all 4, everybody's looking at you and sort of saying, "Oh, exceptional season." They're gonna win loads here, and we've just ended up with pots. Really low grade pots. They're all pots, so they're all very, very welcome. But the disappointment is very real. So I'd kind of rather just get one, maybe squeeze a second.
Do you think anybody will ever go unbeaten again in the season?
Yeah. I think going unbeaten, or ironically,
do you think unbeaten in the Premier League is easier than a treble?
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Because in the league, Forest have beaten Liverpool.
How close has anybody got since Arsenal did it? 2 defeats. Anyone done
again? I remember Liverpool were running very close one season, and it was Watford or somebody nailed us in April or something. It was very, very late. I remember the season we'd gotten something like 114 points cumulatively out of 120 or something. It was insane numbers. But yeah, I suspect going unbeaten is possible. It's
Terry's
tough, though.
Terry's got a 10-1 chip lead here, just waiting for Dan to decide I'll have a go or Terry to make the call. Queens versus Sixes.
Nice
Six on
spot.
the flop. Terry has run really well on this final table, and he's going to pick up the win. Sixes versus. How many times have we seen that happen on this final table? Congratulations, Terry Ball, 1956, picks up £434.
Amazing.
And the maximum 100 points. Dan, ridiculously good laddering, £278 for second place and 80 points, which could be all important in the leaderboard decision. And third in the end was Garth's, so well done to them as well. Just going to flick over because we should have, fingers crossed, there we go, the mini final table that is underway as well. We'll keep an eye. Just seeing Simon Lawler mentioned in the chat, something funny you, myself and Robbie were chatting about earlier on, Vegas virtually giving away rooms this week. Yeah, apparently it's as quiet as they've ever known for a Super Bowl weekend, and you could pick up rooms on the Strip for $29 for Friday night, which is just unheard of. Don't know why that is, but as we were briefly chatting about it with Robbie, weren't we? And they're just saying, well, is it just that people are finally catching up to the prices and what's going on? It could well be that's the case, unfortunately. Let me just switch the lobby over on the bottom of that. There we go.
Lovely.
So you've got the right lobby at the bottom of that. So to just confirm then, so this is the mini final table now, and let me give you a rundown on who we've got here, these final 7. So Bjorn Heiderstrom, you may have just seen him on the previous final table, finishing second. Great laddering up. Dan is chip leader on this. Dan has got nearly triple the next stack at the moment. He's sat with 42 bigs, absolutely loads. That next stack belongs to Quadzilla 99999. No, one too many nines in there. 9999 with 46,000. Seymour Tilts is in third. McLennox is in fourth. Hardcore Womble, hey to you, Karen. You're in fifth at the moment. And Poker Eagle is in sixth. And what we got there? True Baba Yaga. I know who True Baba Yaga is. When we had this discussion before, is it Eddie or is it Di? I want to say it's one of them. I think is True Baba Yaga. I think in the mini, but they are the 5 remaining players in that. So we'll follow this one through to a conclusion, and then that'll be us done on a Sunday night. Leaderboards will get updated tomorrow by Grosvenor, but I think that 80 points for Dan is going to put him in a super strong position. I think it's only Tony Ross that can probably catch him now, and Tony's probably going to need to do a win and hope Dan picks up virtually no points next week if Dan can even play, because he's in the Seychelles. So Yeah, so it could be Tony's going to have to go for the win, all or bust for a £1,500 added value seat. Wow, that will be great to follow. But yeah, don't know what's going on with Vegas. Say just Super Value if you wanted to go and watch Super. A lot of people apparently do go to Vegas for the Super Bowl, even if it's not.
The big books and everything makes sense.
Yeah, they'll go there to watch the Super Bowl. But apparently it's super quiet
this time.
at the moment.
This time next year, Leigh.
Yeah, we can't be that far away from the World Series releasing their full schedule. They've obviously released headline bits and pieces, but isn't pretty sure it's normally. I think we said this the other week. It's normally kind of very soon around. Yeah,
got to be soon.
Should be it.
I was going to say, my friend, this time next year we should try and do a watch along with Tighty on the Super Bowl. Get your tinnies in, join us on the line to watch the Super Bowl. That could be fun.
The thing with it is it's such a technical sport that, and obviously everything it's a play, isn't it? So right, that play, game stops. Right, they're now going to play. So you can analyze what's just happened.
Yeah. But
it's very difficult a lot of the time to predict as queens versus aces on this final table, and a queen and an ace on the board. I mean, that's brutal, absolutely brutal. And we lose True Baba Yaga in seventh place. What a hand there for Poker Eagle. Yeah, it's just some brutal hands on these final tables. But yeah, it's other than when they're going through the phases and basically moving up, getting the yardage up the pitch, until you get into the kind of the red zone where you're potentially now looking at scoring a touchdown or the opportunity to it, and how they might go about doing that. Yeah, it's very difficult to analyze what's actually kind of going on. They're just making the 10 yards to move on up the pitch.
It's like chess with life-size pieces.
Yeah, it's entertaining to watch, but
it's long.
Yeah,
somebody said earlier it's like 6 hours.
To fully understand, but I've got used to. I used to play rugby back in the day, back at school, and I find watching rugby nowadays, the rules have got so complex that actually I don't understand the rules anymore. So therefore, watching the game, it's difficult to know what you're shouting at and what's going on. What you think a decision's being given and it hasn't. Whereas with football, like apart from obviously the nonsense handball, this, that, and the other thing, you kind of understand the rules of football, what's given and what isn't. Rugby's got so technical now that it's becoming an entertainment as a viewer.
It's a bit trickier.
Really difficult
but to their credit,
American football is even tougher to understand what the intricacies of because it looks like they're just all running in the same direction, and sometimes somebody creates some space and gets thrown the ball and they catch it, and when they catch it, that stops and then they go again. And you think, well, how difficult can that be? But I've seen some of the rugby players trying to get involved. So one of the Welsh lads is over there this season, obviously packed in the international game, Rhys Zammit, to go over to fulfill apparently his dream to always want to play in the NFL. I don't think he's broken through into a first team roster yet. I think he's struggled with it. So obviously there's a lot more to it. I think if you don't play the sport, it's difficult sometimes to fully appreciate quite what's involved, even in those defensive positions that you think, well, surely you just stood there and you're just blocking. But actually, the skill to it is far more.
I mean, obviously, having come from professional rugby myself, I understand, Rhys's point of view. It'd be great to play in American football. You could be a professional kicker. Leigh, just go over there, you come on for a kick. I mean, I could be the guy who comes on with the little thing that they put the ball on.
Didn't Gavin Hastings, the ex-Scottish player, rugby union player, do that, the fullback? Or did he? Or maybe he played for? Do you remember there used to be teams in the so they used to have the Edinburgh Caledonians or something. I don't know. There was a London teams. There was a bunch of teams in when they were trying to kind of get. I know it is played at more grassroots level in the UK as a game, but I don't think there's ever been anything more than that with it. But maybe they used to play in those games when they were trying to get a worldwide kind of league going.
Maybe.
And what the NFL ended up doing is just going, well, actually, we'll just
give the money to Daniel Levy.
We'll just put the games. Yeah, we'll basically put the games all around the world. So they now have games in Germany. Did I see somewhere they were now doing it? Is it Australia? Is for next year? I want to say that they're an NFL game in Australia. I want to say.
Good idea. It's nice to see American sports actually getting out and being seen around the world. Leigh, we have a very difficult maths-related question coming in from our audience. One, Mr. Bjorn Williams says, my quick maths has me at 345, Sharky in second at 290, and Reno, Tony Ross, at 285. So Tony can win with third or better and Sharky with fourth or better. So I guess I better reg and blind out to make it a little harder. Whoa. I like it.
So, I agree. Sharky's got 290. I think, I agree. Tony Ross has got 285. And my maths agree with your maths, Dan, that you're on 345. So 55 is the target, and 55 would mean fourth place. So
sounded like Dan was confirming there that he's not going to be playing though.
Yeah. So if Dan decides to play and put 30 in and play it and sit out, you'll pick up 5 points. But I actually don't think if the difference is 55, I don't think 5 is going to make a lot of difference to him. I don't know what we're going to do if it's a tie. I assume we'll go on best result. I haven't actually checked what Grosvenor have got in their T's and C's for that.
There will be a mechanism to differentiate players, I'm sure.
For in the event of a tie in any position, both players forfeit the prize, and it's split between Des and
the
Leigh,
organisers.
Apparently,
Really, I don't like that, Leigh. I don't like that. I mean, we've got to accept it.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't thinking that would be the case, but
don't like that.
Grosvenor have put the rules in. Standard tournament rules apply in weekly tournaments. Able to play Grand Prix necessary to 18 plus. That all seems reasonable. Leaderboard. Leaderboard. I can't see an issue with that at all. It's count back on best position will determine the final position held. So I guess it'll then be how many times have you finished first, how many times have you finished second, how many times have you finished third, etc., etc. Which could potentially mean if Dan's not won one, which I think is what he was saying. If Tony or Dean have actually won one of these in one of the weeks to get their points, then
interesting. Now count back, they could win.
I think what Dan was saying is I've made 5 final tables, but that I'm suggesting 5 final tables
against
means his point means he's probably not won any of them.
Wow.
He's not been able to get one across the line. I mean, obviously, read into that what you will about Dan's play. It clearly his heads-up play is not very good.
Apparently he's had a first. Okay, he's had a first, second, and a second. Well, that's fair enough. That is fair enough.
Well, in which case, that from a count-back point of view, should you would hope would be good enough for you. I'd be shocked if anybody. Well, mind you, in saying that, you had a first and a second. If one of the others had a first and they win it next week, then 2 firsts is going to. Well, that'll be enough for them anyway, wouldn't it? So, you'd be hard pushed. But obviously, the next question is: Are you back? Are you back in time for the UK Open, Dan? If it is,
are you back? Are you back?
Yeah. If you're not, then you can obviously. Des is quite happy to play.
I'll play for you, Dan.
Yeah.
I'll play for you. 90% of the prize. That's all I want.
Seems reasonable. To be honest,
tripling.
Be nice. A million guaranteed means first prize money is going to be what, 150, 200,000, something like that. I'd have thought.
Pretty nice to win, Leigh. Pretty nice to win. Although Dan smiles, I think he's not sure that I might stand in for him.
Triplins nailed it. That's Scottish Claymores. I think that's what they were called. Yeah. I think that's what they were called.
To be honest, that's what they should have been called today, Leigh. I thought a fine display of Irish rugby today, and given England's rather surprising win over France, and maybe I shouldn't be surprised.
Last minute thing,
kind of.
So, and just looking at Scottish Claymores were around between 1995 and 2000. So it closed down in 2004 eventually. And they were part of the World League of American Football, NFL Europe is what they were part of. So yeah, that was running, founded in
No idea.
1989, and it had 10 teams in 91, 92, and then 6 teams between 95 and 2007, and it involved Canada, Germany, the Netherlands, Spain, and the UK. And the last champions were the Hamburg Sea Devils. The most titles were by the Frankfurt Galaxy, who won it 4 times. But it just went, didn't have legs, didn't see it through.
Great sports series that nobody has heard of. Episode 3.
No, well, I remember this in the late 90s and early noughties that it was trying to get basically an NFL Europe, effectively. That's what they were trying to do. But I didn't. But say a bunch of people from rugby and other sports got involved in it. But I'm sure they played at Wembley.
I suspect
the World Bowl 91 was held at Wembley between the London Monarchs, who defeated the Barcelona Dragons 21-0.
In the World Bowl. There wasn't even an American team in the World Bowl.
No, World Bowl 91
just featured European teams, and in a classic American sports style takeover of global population, we called it the World Bowl.
Yeah, so the London Monarchs beat Barcelona Dragons in the first ever one. Yeah. And apparently the WLFA averaged around 26,000 fans a game in its first season. So it had people turn up to watch it, which I guess is what then led to the NFL going, well, there's interest, so we'll just put our own games on, and we'll take all the money ourselves. Yeah, by the look of it, yeah. It could. I mean, maybe it should be brought back. Des, are we missing a trick here? We could.
I really don't think we're missing a trick on this one, Leigh. If I'm honest.
Do you not think so? Barcelona had a team, Frankfurt, London, Montreal, and eventually there were some American teams in there as well, but none of the NFL teams. It was other teams that got involved in it at one point as well. So,
Leigh, if you could have that as a poker series where you've got the Montreal Royal Flushers playing the North Kingston Aces full. I mean, I'm all for that. I want to see poker players of all shapes and sizes line up in an athletic formation, wearing athletic clothes to play competitive poker.
Why do you think the was it the global poker index? Why did that only lasted? Was it 1 year where they were
no? So, that was Jeffrey, our mate Jeffrey, right?
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Was it?
So why did
begin
that
with an E? The something
you thought that would have
epic
would have had
poker,
legs.
epic poker league.
Yeah. Would you not have thought that would have had something about it, and it just for whatever reason it didn't get any traction?
Did not have
to be anything.
Did not have Usley. I think that's the main reason.
Yeah, I mean, experienced poker team event organisers that know what works. Yeah, it's a shame because I quite like that concept of drafting in poker players and having a poker squad.
I love that idea.
And then competing. And you would have thought on a world stage it would work.
Be fun. Yeah.
Very much so, but not the case. So we're game week 8 for anyone just tuning in late on this Sunday night, and main event is already organised. That's done and dusted. Terry Ball picked up the win in that one. We're watching the conclusion of the mini leaderboard now, which actually we were talking about who can top this, that, and the other, but actually the mini one was Tony Ross was at top of that. But I'm guessing Dan must be not far off that one if he's on another final table here. I don't know where he was in that leaderboard. Let's see if I can find him. No, actually, he's a little bit way down in that one, but some good points for him might get him up into the top 10. It certainly would actually. So, if, as chip leader in this, his chips are all in the middle, and he's up against second in chips, which is Quadzilla 9999. Decision on them. Already bet 2.5 bigs from their 20 big blind stack. I'm going to let it go. So Dan takes that one down. Yeah, a win for Dan. he was on 140 points in that leaderboard. So a win for him will put him up to 240, which we'll see him potentially overtake Tony, or it's going to put him up near the top of that one as well, Des. So he could be in a good position in both of the leaderboards going into the final week that he can't play.
Leigh, exciting stuff,
Wow.
but a couple of interesting notes here. We are doing the Poker Raffles live draw tomorrow night. So we moved that to a Monday evening, as you said earlier on. An interesting moment, presumably at some point today, we moved over 4,000 tickets sold for Vegas. Wow, 4,000 done. The other thing to note, Party Poker. So the first Party Poker tour event in London coming up soon to be drawn tomorrow night. £750 package. Only 46% sold through to be drawn tomorrow night.
I think there's
£1 a ticket. Possible value.
There is going to be some value. There's value in any of them because what you're paying for a ticket to try and win an event is great.
Yeah.
But I think that Party Poker one tomorrow night might well be super value if you want to get involved in that. As I say, I did say earlier on, if there is another APAT one live on the site now, if that gets to 140 next week, I will draw it as an extra one for London. It's got a lot to do to get there, but if it does, we'll do that draw tomorrow night as well if it gets to 140, so we can get somebody into London for next week if we need to. But then there's the British Poker Series draw tomorrow night as well, and then that Party Poker one, the Des that you just mentioned.
Yeah, I think the BPS will sell out, is my view.
Yeah,
to be honest, the Party Poker might sell out, but right now...
BPS have just run their event, so they do 100,000 guarantee at Aspers for their monthly event, and they got over 150,000 in the prize pool this weekend. So well done to all the guys involved in that, and that's a nice little warm-up for Aspers and the team there before we head into town from Wednesday for the UK and Ireland Championship.
Are you down from Wednesday, Leigh?
No, Friday.
I'm coming in on Friday. Grand.
Tom's going to look after the first couple of days. So on day one, there's a PLO 456 tournament, starts at 6 o'clock, and a bounty hunter at 7 on the Wednesday. Then on the Thursday, there's first of the championship events, starts at 6 o'clock, which is the PLO championship. And then there's a day one of the main event at 7 o'clock. And then on the Friday, from 5 o'clock is the 8 game. And there's a round of each. No Limit Hold'em PLO from 6, and another main event day one at 7 o'clock, and then really busy day on the Saturday because you've got at midday there's a day 1C of the main event, and we've got the final table of the 8 game. We've also got a PLO 8 championship starts at 1 o'clock. There's a No Limit Hold'em Mystery Shootout Championship that starts at 3 o'clock. Triple Stud at 6, and then the final day one of the main event at 7 o'clock. And then on Sunday we've got day 2 of the main. Then we've also got the Hetros Championship at 1 o'clock on the Sunday afternoon, a No Limit Hold'em 8 Max at 2 o'clock, and then Win the Button at 6 in the evening on the Sunday for anyone that's still there. Medal events, I think there's about 5 of them are medal events, I think, this week. So they're all marked up on the schedule. So
absolute.
Yeah, great if you can get along and get involved in them. Yeah.
Ton of stuff. Dan says, can only make Party Glasgow from the dates listed. I'll buy a chunk if I can use it for then. Yeah, I don't think that would be an issue. I think that would be fine.
Not an issue whatsoever. They're because the Party Poker Tour have announced their 3 of the 5 dates that they're going to do, and they're all £500 buy-ins for their mains. Then what we'll do is say it's £500 main event seat plus £250 cash. So obviously we'll ship you the £250 cash if you win it straight away. So you've got that towards your expenses, and then the 500 seat can be used for, although London is the first one in April, we've it won't be an issue whatsoever to use it for any of the other events. I think Manchester's the other one they might have announced as well, I want to say. Ace Jack for McLennox, King 9 for Hardcore Womble, and Jack on the turn, 9 on the river. McLennox.
Who's Karen?
Karen, unfortunately, in 6th place. Well played to
Karen. Good game, Karen. Yeah. Leigh, going back to the Epic Poker League, Dan says, I've searched for one of the Poker League shirts worn by the London Royals from that back in the day. Cannot find one anywhere. It's an interesting topic. Yeah.
I find it quite strange that it's not been something which could have been continued in some form with some sort of structure whereby you have so many events that are online during the year, and maybe there's 4 live events around the world or something that everyone rocks up to that are attached to maybe things that people would go to anyway. So you attach something into the World Series and attach something into I don't know, EPT Prague or something. Or, you'd find ways of just kind of that somebody wouldn't look to do that, and it should be a squad as well. So you draft a squad, and maybe only 4 from the squad need to play a particular event, and they're competing against each other within that event or something like that. Would have been a good one. As we just lost Quadzilla 9999, and McLennox is absolutely flying on this final table now. Has got twice the stack of Bjorn Heiderstrom in second place. Seymour Tilts, Alan's got 6 bigs, and Poker Eagle's got 6 as well. So, or 5 actually. So they're the 2 short stacks here. As actually the blinds have just gone up again. So that's taken a little bit more off their big blind stack now. McLennox has twice what Bjorn Heiderstrom has. Let's see if McLennox can see this through, busting 2 in a row and really adding to their stack. Top prize is £90 or £89.26 tonight. So from a £5 buy-in, that's not a bad result.
Pretty decent going, Lee. Pretty decent going.
Yeah. So, and all the results of the leaderboard will get updated by the guys from Grosvenor tomorrow morning. So you'll be able to check all the leaderboards to get an update with 1 week to go. And we'll be in London next week, live streaming the main event final table there. I'll see if we can do something to try and keep up to date with what's going on with the final games in this, even if it's just giving a shout out for the winners. We'll have the lobbies open so we can see what's going on, so we can let people know who's winning that, or where we think there's potential for somebody to secure enough points. So we'll try and keep a post on it as well.
It should not go unnoticedly, because I think this is contractual. If Dan isn't around, he is willing to let me play because it sounds good to him.
Well, I mean, that's
no brainer. No brainer, really.
Ace 3 versus Ace 10, and it's 2 and a 5 on the turn.
Oh dear. Definitely the night of the coming from behind.
Yeah, goodness me. Seymour Tilt gets a full double up through McLennox, and on we go. Poker Eagles all in for their 4 bigs. Is Dan gonna come out to play in the big blind? It's not 15 bigs behind, so it's 20% of his stack. No, he's not. So on we will go. Yeah, so don't forget with poker raffles, any APAT draws you can use for any APAT events in 2025. So it's always worth flicking in for those. If you're planning to at some point, you can always hold on to them and utilize them for later on in the year if you want to, once Tom's released the full schedule. But as I say, as you can guess, we'll be in a lot of the usual places. We'll be out in Malta twice. We're over in Ash. We're in Dublin. I mean, if you say you can even use it for Dublin, obviously, you just have to make up any difference in the in the buy-in, because the buy-in's a little bit. I think actually it might not be too bad. Actually, I want to say it's €150 over in Dublin, so it might be okay. But basically, we can make it work for any APAT event you want to play in 2025, wherever that is. We can sort that out for you.
Karen says, good game until the grand finale. So we'll do it all again next weekend, Karen, and good luck to you in that.
Yeah, hunting down for some added value. I think, Karen's in a nice place in probably in both the leaderboards now, because the points that she'll have picked up tonight is probably, where did she finish in the end? 6th. So trying to work out the 6th. So 6th is 45 points. So it's going to put her up to 220. So possibly that might have moved her up into the top 10 in the mini leaderboard. I think she's still going to be in the top 10 in the main leaderboard because she was 5th. So I don't think enough people will have overtaken her in that. So, yeah, so very much Karen's going to be in the hunt. Ace 3 versus 4, 5, 3 on the flop, 4 on the turn. And Poker Eagle's going to get a double up through Bjorn Heiderstrom. So, yeah, Karen's in a good spot next week for the final 2. I think it's probably going to be in the top 10 for both of them. So in with a shout of some of the added value. Poker Eagle all in next hand with Ace King, called by McLennox's Queen 9, 9 on the turn, and that's going to be the end of the Poker Eagle. Good for the other 2 because they're going to ladder up a little bit after Poker Eagle doubled up through Bjorn Heiderstrom. But Hugh McLennox now with a huge chip, and I'm going to guess is going to just go all in every hand here and go, well, I'll just hoover up these chips because
it's worth doing.
48 bigs. Seymour Tilt has got 7 and Bjorn has got 5. So ultimately, McLennox could just go, well, I can just shove here every single hand, and if either of you want to make the call, I'll take my chances with any 2 cards.
Leigh, we're going to have to take the stream down, I'm afraid. Steve's just confirmed that the Super Bowl coverage has started and Donald Trump is there. I mean, the rest of the comment means nothing. It's just we have to go off and watch what Donnie does at the Super Bowl.
I'm assuming, is he actually there live or is he? Yeah, he's actually.
It's going to be a great game, Leigh.
Why would he be? Just the president doesn't normally go to the Super Bowl.
I think he is maybe one of the first to accept an invite. There's free sherry and cake.
I didn't think they ever normally would go to something like that. Is he allowed to be in the same
Donald Trump
place?
Wouldn't typically be your normal president.
Is he allowed to be in the same place that Taylor Swift is? Is that security wise? Is that good? Yeah. Bjorn's all in button seems to have got stuck because he's just pressing all in every single hand here. Maybe what I was saying, Dan, I wasn't saying for you to do that because I said that's what McLennox is going to do. McLennox has done it next hand. Is Dan going to make a call? No, he's not, because when somebody else does it, Dan's all of a sudden gets a bit scared. Not interested in it.
Leigh, I'm betting there's going to be a quote from Donald Trump next week saying something like, "Did you see the crowd at my rally in New Orleans?"
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Seymour Tilt shoves this time, and McLennox doesn't want to call. But I mean, he's not going to call it off light. So if somebody's shoving into him, even if you've got a massive stack,
here we go.
You've got to have something half decent to want to make a call with. You're not going to just double up one of the shorties super light for no reason. Let's say if you make the shove lighter and get called, well, okay, that's fine.
You can outdraw them.
You're not going to do anything silly if somebody else is shoving into you.
It's textbook stuff at the moment
as well. Yeah, actually, all 3 of them just doing exactly the right thing from position. Let's see whether Seymour Tilts makes a shove this time from the button, and does. Right, is either of the other 2 got a hand this time?
Oh, Dan's definitely letting this go.
And McLennox doesn't, so on we go. They're just moving the chips around here in a minute. We're just waiting for, say, 2 half-decent hands. You watch, you won't even be half-decent hands. It'll be some suited connectors or something. McLennox shoves this time. Is Seymour Tilts going to call off their remaining stack? No, they're not. Should be another shove McLennox. It is. Yeah, right. Let's say it feels they're going to get caught at some point. Here we go. Does it with ace jack? It was 9-6. To say McLennox wasn't going to do it with them very much.
6.
Hits the 6 and avoids the club on the turn of the river, and we lose Seymour Tilt in 3rd place. I said to you,
short stack ninja.
Yeah, it's a shove in, and very next hand, Queen 3 versus 5-7.
There's the Queen
on the flop, and there's
a 3.
Which is going to be done.
Another one.
McLennox has absolutely smashed this final table. I think bust about 5 of them, maybe 6.
Yeah, it was a great final table, Leigh. There we go.
Oh, that was you for a second. Yeah. So congratulations to McLennox. Picks up the win. Picks up £89 and 100 points in the leaderboard. Bjorn Heiderstrom. It's double.
It's a
double
dream
bridesmaid
night.
thing. Double bridesmaid, never the bride, or whatever the saying is. Two in a row. Seriously, work on your heads up game, mate. Honestly, I mean, there's some free training available on poker raffles. Go and watch some videos or something. Honestly, how are you not winning either of those heads up? It's appalling, really. Seymour Tilts finishes in third, Poker Eagle in fourth, Quadzilla 9999 in fifth, and Hardcore Womble, well done to you, Karen, finishes in sixth place. That was game week number 8 of the winter leaderboard. It's going to be all change at the top for both of those leaderboards. 1 week to go. Next week, we are confirming who is picking up what of the £3,000 worth of added value courtesy of grosvenorpoker.com. You can still say there's still so many players that can get into those top 10s by playing next week. We will be in London next week, though, but so we will follow all the action as best we can from Asper's Casino next weekend, whilst we're doing the UK and Ireland Championship of Amateur Poker. But that was another good 2 final tables, I thought, Des.
Great evening of poker, folks. Loved spending it with you and having a bit of a laugh about the Super Bowl and some other things. As Leigh said, next Sunday evening is going to be a busy one for us. We will be streaming live from Asper's. And as Leigh said, we'll be keeping an eye on what happens in the final week of the leaderboards. Until then, folks, have a wonderful week. Night-night.